Hey everybody, Steve G here for Chef Knife to Go with an interesting knife with a very long name. This is the Hatsukokoro HAP40 Ladderback Damascus Gyuto 2 10mm knife. So let's unpack that. So this knife has a multiple layer construction. The cladding, as you can see, is a stainless Damascus in what they call a ladderback pattern. Really interesting. This is the core steel peeking out there from the cladding, which is HAP40 semi-stainless steel. You can look around a little bit about this steel, but it's a very high hardness. It's 65 Rockwell, 66. The edge retention is really amazing on this steel. It's pretty extreme, yet it still has a little bit of forgiveness and toughness to it, and it's not that tough to sharpen if you've got good aggressive cutting like stones or diamond film, something like that. You got good sharpening stones, diamond film, it'll sharpen up really quite well considering the hardness compared to some other steels in this hardness range. So great combination of edge retention, sharpenability, and a little bit of toughness thrown in. It would be amazing on like a line knife or something where you've got a lot of prep to do, or prep knife where you need a lot of edge retention, or of course at home. The weight and dimensions can vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 198 grams or 7 ounces. It's got a full tang handle, Western handle, which we'll look at. The edge is about 202 millimeters, so it's not a. Sometimes these are undersized. So this one's about 8 inches from tip to back of the heel. Overall length about 13.2 inches or 335 millimeters. And then as far as thickness goes, it's got a lot of stiffness. It's not really thick at the spine. I got about 2.3 millimeters thick at the spine at the back here, and then about halfway down I got about 2.1, 2.15, and not a lot of taper to the thickness of the spine. And as you start to get down the grind of the blade towards the tip, you'll see our camera here. You'll see the tip's pretty thin. It's not like screaming thin, but it's pretty thin enough to give you a very nice performance at that tip. And then let's look at the back of the blade, the choil shot, and you'll see it's not like razor thin, but it's pretty thin at the edge as well. So this should be a good combination of performance and grind on it. Height on this one's about 44.9 or 45 millimeters tall at the back. Let's look at the handle first. So we've got a handle that is a full tang Western style handle, stainless rivets. You've got what's called an integrated bolster here, which flows right into the blade. Very nice. Fit and finish is really good on all this. It's very smooth on all the surfaces. Handle material is called black paca wood. It's a stabilized wood product. And so in terms of using it in the height, they've got the back of the blade swept back just a little bit into a curve that flows perfectly into this bolster. So there's a really nice spot for your finger there if you're using that kind of grip or a pinch grip. Balance point's going to be a little further back because it's a full tang handle. It's not a super big long blade. So the balance point is kind of right about in there. If you're pinching as far as your grip goes like this, you'll feel just a little bit of handle heavy balance bias to it, but that's pretty normal for a full tang Western handled knife like this. It's really not too far off neutral though. It's not like real heavy on the handle. Might as well get a beauty shot. This is quite the looker on the blade. So the right side of the blade has some embossed information on it. You got the steel, some kanji, made in Sakai. You can kind of feel the layers on the cladding as you put your finger across there, and it's drawn into what they call a ladderback pattern. Here's your core steel. A little bit of polish to this, as you can kind of tell from the reflections. This is the left side of the blade. Really nice fit and finish on this knife, as you would expect. So this is really a conversation piece. They've done a little bit of relief on the corners of the spine, so it's quite comfortable. They've polished and relieved a little bit on the corners of the choil, so that's easy to use. I'll give this a 6 out of 10 on my scale as far as edge goes. This steel will get really sharp if you do a good job on the sharpening of it. So this could definitely get sharper, this particular one. Let's look at the cutting board profile. All right, so looking at it on the cutting board, we flow into a pretty good stop towards the back 30% of the blade. It flows nicely into that, no hiccups on it or bumps or anything. So it flows nicely into just a good stop there. So that's a really nice section for chopping. And a little bit of belly towards the tip, so I can get this thing about right in there for the tip once it starts digging in. So this will definitely rock cut over, medium, small stuff, no problem at all. Tip draws actually pretty decent. You don't have to lift the handle crazy high, but you can do tip draws with it, push-pull cuts, glide cuts, definitely some chopping towards the back. So it's actually a very versatile profile with the 8 inches of edge length they've got to work with. So if you're looking for something that's very interesting with amazing steel, really cool look to it, again, edge retention that lasts a long time as long as you sharpen it really well. This is a great knife. This is the Hatsukokoro HAP40 Ladderback Damascus Gyuto 210mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.